Question. We do have a program that's readily available, which is called a succession program. It's called Management 101. I have all my certificates up here. Consist of certified guest excellence, certified into telephone etiquette, sexual harassment, coaching. Give them a pickle, and you got certifications left and right here. Now I'm gonna be working following people for 6 weeks at a time at different casinos. Right now I'm working with the Konami system. There is programs readily available. We just have to want to do this now. We got it through gaming. We can manage anywhere all the way up to the gaming director, all the way up to the RGC and lower, any management programs. That is one of the reasons I'm running again for a position in the last year, since I took in Secretary Treasurer. First time around wasn't too well. I expect higher expectations with my most recent trainings I've had, and it's called Management 101. I took 6 months of classroom time, which consisted of 8 hours a day, twice a week, and I was there constantly, consistently, early, out late, doing what I can. I'm doing this to better the reservation as a whole, and getting as a Leech Laker into these management positions. I can take any one of those positions and I can run that department, and I'm sure of that. Our reservation is making sure this gets done. We just have to want to do it. Thanks, that's my closing.
Cindy Madigan. In closing, I would like to say that we have a lot of work to do, and I want you to know that I'm real sincere about District 3 representative. I do have a lot of experience. You're welcome to ask for my resume. I'm happy to provide that. And I'm really passionate about, we always talk about change, and what we need to be talking about is the specific things that we need to change, and we need to move forward. We need to have our tribal sovereignty back. We have a lot of outside entities making money off of us, whether that be in corrections, whether that be in treatment, but we need to make things better for our communities here. We need to make sure that our isolated communities have what they need. And that's what I hope to encourage and support as a District 3 representative. We also have the need to further develop our economy. One of the biggest things that we need is we need our own bank. Too often Western Bank runs a lot of our things and any other bank that we're involved in. So we need to really have our own bank and take responsibility for our own finances in a good way. Our social issues, again, we need to provide more opportunities out there in our isolated communities. So I'm really sincere about this opportunity, and just look forward to talking with all of you. Thank you for coming. Please vote, whether it's not for me, vote for me. Just vote, exercise your right to vote. Please do that. Good.
Hi, I'm Mike Reyes. Closing. I'm going to get back to this employment of Leech Lakers. What we have to understand is some of us are enrolled, some of our kids are not enrolled. So you're saying our kid can no longer get a job on Leech Lake if they're not enrolled, but you are? What that teaches is that teaches hate. And other people look at that, and we don't like that when people hate against our people. We have to really be cautious on this, of taking people out of their jobs. And people that work here for 20 years and are involved in our community, should we take that job from them just because they're not Leech Laker, but maybe they're the ones involved in our community helping our children? I mean, people really have to look at that. I mean, that's really disturbing when we talk about that. I mean, some people disagree with me on that. But I know there's people on the reservation that have worked here their whole life. They're not even native, but they know our ways. And so we're saying we're better than them because we're enrolled, but they're actually out there helping our people. With that said, You know, this mentee program is good, but who gets these mentees? It's just who you know. I've seen people in some of these programs, and it's just, well, their parent is this, and this, so we're going to put them in this program. It's not offered to those that are out there in the community. I think for these mentee programs, you should be out in the community, volunteering, learning everything. You know, and not just, oh, I'm going to call my mom or my dad and they're going to give me a job. You should have to be a hard-working person. There should be a program out there, it should be called No One Should Not Be Left Behind. And with that said, we should make sure all of our people are taken care of, even if they're not enrolled. Thank you.
Hope.
Good job, Mike. Leroy Fairbanks, and in closing, I would like to say bewitched to the Women's Coalition. I don't know the Ojibwe name for putting this on and giving us the opportunity to speak to band members over the radio station and and physically here tonight. One of the things that I talk a lot about, during this campaign and talking to a lot of people is generating interest with the younger generation and getting them interested in our current government. The current state of our government and understanding where we are with this government and trying to implement a system to teach our kids, where we were. Getting guys like Skip Lyons to come and talk to the kids about systems that were in place years ago, talk about pre-1934, currently into where we are right now. I don't know that system. There wasn't a system to put in place to educate me about that system. So I'm uninformed about a lot of history with Leech Lake. And I'm eager to learn. I take time out of my one minute. It's me out of my mode here, but the other thing is the council working together. Everybody up here has awesome ideas, but the current state of the government before we can change is we need the council working together. We have plans upon plans upon plans about things that can move Leech Lake forward. There's a lot of educated people. There's a insurmountable amount of education, knowledge, and experience of band members that they offer the opportunity, but the political infighting stops progression. It stops Leech Lake from moving forward in so many ways. And so I'm gonna dedicate myself, if elected to this position, to trying to cure that, to cure the fighting on the council. That's the biggest thing I can say that holds this place back is the fighting in the council and the fighting for the jobs. So, with that, I would advocate for myself and say, vote Leech Lake, vote for Leroy. Big witch.
My name is Skip Lyons, and in closing, I'd like to say we've had a lot of good questions. And we've got a lot of good candidates. Except most of these questions are like diversion questions, according to my mind. I think the real questions that we ought to ask ourselves is, what about the corruption that we're dealing with in our government? What about the theft? We've got an illegal government system since 72, and our hunting and fishing agreement is an illegal agreement. Public Law 280 is an illegal agreement. Both of these are supposed to be done by a referendum vote. Nobody ever mentions this. But there's a lot of other issues of nepotism on Leech Lake. Nobody's been bringing up our political forums. But I think probably in the next forum we ought to get to the heart of the matter and actually what's going on. Thank you.
My name is Prescott, and I'm in this race to try to make some improvements on the council as far as getting along, moving forward, resolving unresolved issues. As a leader in the District 3 position that I mentioned it before, it is actually a servant leader position. And the term itself speaks for itself. Representative. We're here to represent you, the people, and residents of District 3 and the band as a whole. You know, and to be that servant leader when you're dealt with a difficult situation, you know, you will have to come to a compromise. You know, each party would have to give a little to move forward. But there are many opportunities. We have a lot of tools that are not being used by our government, by our directors. There's a lot of needs in the communities, and I know the faces that are behind these needs. I've seen them at my job. I've lived through them myself. You know, many of us have lost our sense of community, and I'd like to work hard at bringing us all together and be proud of who we are and where we live, and bring that family unity into the communities. Thank you.
Yeah, Martin Robinson. I think in the beginning here, our first thing would be trying to fix the tribal council and making sure that they're fair across the board for the reservation as a whole. Now, I also would like to think that the people of Leech Lake or District 3, whatever here, would have a responsibility that comes up when they have an opportunity to meet candidates that supposedly are there representing them in their community and on the tribal council, to come over and be part of the forum and making sure that your voices are heard from your community, even though, and I've been to LICs, majority of that responsive, and when I was there was only just the voting members that were there. There was hardly any community members that were actually there, and they actually were there supposedly representing their communities. And it's unfortunate that things like that happen. But I would like to think that overall, whoever gets this position would be there. I would actually go over to programs, divisions, and make sure that you heard their side of the story, make sure that they had the resources and the training to do what they had to be necessary. Because there's always two sides to every story, and you give them the tools and the resources to be able to do things that the way they were supposed to be representing the reservation as a whole. And I also appreciate the time that I've had to come over and visit with the people that are here. Leadership.
Robert Robbie Budrow, Senior, Indigena Cause. When I'm sworn in after you good folks elect me District 3 representative here on the reservation on June 12th, when I'm sworn in, the day after I'm sworn in, I will immediately implement a random weekly mandatory UA program for not only the 5 RBC members, but all of the division directors, because it is these people at the top that are making major decisions for hundreds of people's lives on a daily basis. I truly believe if one of them people are under the influence of the mind changers of alcohol and drugs, that whole upper management team is out of harmony. Because that one person or them persons are not thinking with a clear mind, and they are not feeling with a good heart. So how can they make good decisions? Well, I also plan on starting a great incentive program for our young adults that are attending any institution of higher education. Not just the Leech Lake Tribal College, but any institution of higher education. I don't have time to go into detail on how that will be accomplished, but it's on my platform. I got 30 seconds, so I'll say keep the Waberman Nugget. That means I will see you later. What I mean by that is this. If we should never meet again here on the face of our Mother Earth, I will see you in the spirit world. Chief Miigwech.